All right. After much trial and tribulation, we are here. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for kicking off the first episode of Professor and Friends with DeAndre Rudis.
It's an honor.
Oh, man.
It is
Thank
an
you
honor
so much.
to start this new endeavor with you.
Yes, sir. So, look, like I said, a lot of trial and error. Every few minutes or so, we may just take a pause to make sure that everything is still working right. And after that, we're going to continue the conversation.
That's great.
All right. So, first and foremost, thank you for being here, right? And the second thing is, please let everybody know who you are.
Well, as you know, my name is Jerrod Williams. I am an attorney. I've been an attorney since 2002. Now, one thing that's interesting is that I'm not an attorney in the way most people think about attorneys. Most people, when they hear I'm an attorney, they think about someone who represents clients in court. I don't do either of those things. I don't have any clients, and I don't go to court. What I do is I work for the court system itself. I work for the Illinois Appellate Court, and I work for one justice on the Illinois Appellate Court in particular, and I'm what is called his law clerk.
Okay.
And basically, I help the judge to make his decisions. And the way I help him is by performing research on the issues and by writing drafts of documents that he will be filing as the opinion of the court.
Okay. So in doing that research, that means, I know I got a little bit of technical terminology, but I don't know a whole lot. So this is a learning experience for me as well. But that means like when there's precedent for a particular case or something, is that what you go and research and find?
That is exactly right.
Okay.
And straightening out some of that technical terminology, that's exactly why we're here. So I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, most decisions are controlled by precedent. Now, the precedent is the correct term, but it really comes in two different terms, in two different forms. When people think about precedent, what they think about prior decisions that this court or a higher court has made. So, for example, in the news right now, Roe v. Wade was a precedent. It has now been overturned. So that's one source of the law. Another source of the law that I use to help to research and to help the judge, it's not the same as precedent because it's not a prior decision, but it's existing law, and that existing law comes in the statutes.
Okay.
So you can find the law that applies to a particular case in a statute, like the murder statute is a statute. So you don't necessarily need a case that decided a murder case if you could just decide it based on the statute. But if there's some...
But now, just to cut you off, a statute is an existing law that is on the books?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Those are passed by the Illinois legislature down in Springfield.
Okay.
They can amend them, and those are it's just a book of laws, and it's in various categories: criminal, procedural, environmental, health regulations. All of those are in the Illinois statutes, which are actually available free online to everyone to read. And so that is an existing law that's been passed by your representative in Springfield. Then what happens is sometimes there's a term or an application of those existing laws that's not clear. And that's where the court system comes in. So the court will have a case, and let's say again they're applying that murder statute, and one of the things that they have to prove is intent. And they look at, and there's a situation, a factual situation, in which that's the question, like, did this person have intent? Now, a statute can't describe every possible situation. It has to be a broad rule, like there just must be intent, like that's just the rule. What exactly that means in a given circumstance, that's where the courts come in. And the courts decide those cases, and that's where you get your case law precedents to help interpret the statutes.
Okay. So, when deciding how to apply said law, does the court have, how would you say it, like decision-making prowess to decide whichever way they want to go with, or they have to, what is already written in law is what they have to go with, as well as precedent. When something is already established, they have to go with that no matter what, or can they decide, make their own judgment as to where to go with it?
Very good question. And the answer, like most answers in law, unfortunately, is it depends. Now, It depends on what court you are in. If you're in a trial court, which is the lowest level of court, that's the entry level. That's the first level.
Okay.
Or if you're at the intermediate appellate court, which is where cases from the trial court go if someone wants to appeal, then you have to follow certain precedents. The trial court has to do whatever the appellate court has decided. The appellate court has to do whatever the Supreme Court has decided.
Okay.
Now, when you get to the Supreme Court, and there's a state Supreme Court in Illinois. Most people think about the U.S. Supreme Court. But we do have a state Supreme Court in Illinois. When you get to the Illinois Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court, they are guided by case precedent. That's something that's also been in the news recently called stare decisis. And basically that's just a fancy Latin term that says that once something has been pretty well established, then we're not going to mess with it.
Okay.
Plainly. But they do have the power to. They can not ignore stare decisis, but overlook it if the situation calls for it. So.
And what hold on. So you don't open up a can of worms. First, it's called stare decisis.
It's actually stare, S-T-A-R-E, stare decisis.
Okay, stare decisis.
Yes.
Okay. And then the second part, the last thing you just left off is they still can make decisions if they feel like whichever way they want to go.
As we've recently seen, yes.
Oh my God.
But only the Supreme Court has that power. Stare decisis is a guide for the court, but it's not a rule or a limitation.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Okay.
So what level of court you're at does make a difference. The other thing that makes a difference at both the trial court and the appellate court is whether this particular circumstance has come up before. In those courts, if there is controlling case precedent, they are bound to follow it. But sometimes you get a case what we call a case of first impression. Like this is something we've never seen before. And at that point, the court is pretty much on its own to make a new decision because it's never been decided before. Or it's never been decided in this particular jurisdiction. Now, what does that mean? I know
Absolutely.
That's a packed term.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. Come on now.
So the state is, of course, divided into counties.
Okay.
And each county, or a groups of counties, are what are called circuits. So you may have 5 or 6 counties, except for Cook County, that make up a circuit. And that's where you get the term circuit courts. Okay.
Now, why except for Cook County? Because it's one of the largest counties?
Because Cook County is so large, it's its own circuit all by itself.
Okay.
Once you get into like DuPage, Kane, Henry, Downstate, Peoria, Sangamon, then you take like 6 or 7 surrounding counties and combine those into one circuit, like the 12th Judicial Circuit. But Cook County is so large, it's just the Cook County Circuit. So that is one place. So, and then the circuits are then themselves bundled into appellate court districts.
Okay.
So first you have the circuits, which is either one county in Cook County or several counties downstate. Then you take several circuits and bundle those together into an appellate court district. So why are we talking about this? Because in those circuit courts, if their appellate court district has made a decision, they're bound to follow.
So all of the courts within that circuit are bound to their appellate court decision.
And actually, they're bound to any appellate court decision. Who is not bound is that appellate court district. So let's say you have 2 districts. You have the Cook County. You have the first district, which is Cook County.
Okay.
And you have the second district, which is just west of here.
Okay.
If the first district has decided a case, then a subsequent first district court has to follow that case.
Understood. Yep, I got to understand that.
The second district does not.
I follow that. Okay.
Okay. They can make their own sort of second district decision.
Okay.
Now that leads to an interesting dynamic where you could get one decision in the first district and one decision in the second district that are the opposite of each other.
Okay.
One might say up, the other might say down. That is usually a situation where the Supreme Court gets involved and says, okay, we are going to resolve this conflict.
Be the mediator.
And once they speak, that's it.
Okay.
We all have to do what they say.
Okay. So I'm going to take a quick pause right here, pay some bills, and then check and make sure everything's still working right.
Absolutely.
All right, and we are back. Listen, it's DeAndre Rudis again with 21 questions, where we go around the Austin neighborhood and ask questions of the community members. We trying to gauge their civic engagement. So who do I have here with me today?
Man, Terrence Knight, a.k.a. Aloysius Jones, accountant, auditor. I wear many hats. Husband, dad, friend, whatever you want to call him.
Oh, my God! Wow!
All right, thank you for the long introduction, sir. So, listen, again, all I'm doing is asking questions of residents from the community to gauge their level of civic engagement.
Okay.
Sir, first question I got for you is, do you mind your politician twerking?
Do I mind my politician twerking? Not a man, but...
Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
Oh, edit that out.
Come on, man.
No, I do not mind. Well, I do mind my alderman twerking because it's, you have to set a precedence for the younger generation, because if you acting the fool, they going to act the fool too.
I take it you didn't see the video of the senator that was twerking.
I did not. I've been busy. If you could show me at some point, I will judge the video.